Yes, and if you would just introduce yourself.
Yeah, Terry Dumas with Rab Lighting. So it seems that one of the ways to get to Michael and Scott is to introduce you to a really great new product.
That would be one way.
Okay, so with that in mind, a question for the panel is, what is your preferred way to learn about a new product? And then more importantly, how do you then get that information out to the rest of your group?
Excellent question. Anybody want to tackle that one? Because it's for all of you, really.
Well, in our experience, where everybody's busy, so it's hard to get the product to the right people, but there is times that some of their key people will be in the warehouse, so we'll set up a little demonstration or something and say maybe a short 10-15 minute demonstration of the product, or if you have a video or something that I can get in the hands of the people in the field, the ones that are going to actually be using this product. That usually works pretty well. But being the field guys are so busy, it's really hard to send somebody out to a job site and say, hey, can you stop your job for a minute because I want to show you this new drill that we got or whatever it is. So there's a lot of different ways to go about it, but that would be one way to introduce yourself to our company.
We use Rab quite extensively, and I don't know how I ended up, but I get a lot of emails from Rab, and every time you guys are introducing a new product, I get them, and I look at them. I mean, I get over 100 emails a day, but I will pick what I look at, and we do use your product quite a bit, and we use it in industrial applications because there's huge rebates for LED and where I'm at. The other thing that has made Rab stand out in our market is one of the rep agencies has a warehouse and they're stocking it. So the distributor doesn't have to stock it. The agent's got it. And I can have an LED fixture tomorrow, not 6 weeks from now. And that has helped our market, and Rab is killing it in our market.
But back to her question, how does she get that information in front of you? So your preferred way is email.
Yeah.
Scott's preferred way is come by, show me, demonstrate it or whatever, make a video if I don't have time to see you and you don't have time to sit through a demonstration or whatever. But you're actually looking at the emails. That's your preferred way?
Yeah, I look at majority of them on my phone or my tablet.
What is it about our emails that makes you want to open those? I mean, you said you get 100 a day, and so your opening hours, how come?
I think the first one, it took the first one and me buying the product and being satisfied with it, because the whole courtship had to start in the beginning. I saw the email and I said it was equivalent to a 250 watt metal halide, and it was an industrial application for one of my customers.
You remember the email?
I did. I specifically remember.
It makes him.
I did not plan this.
But no,
It's unbelievable.
but I tried it, and the fact that it was available locally made it even more convenient to try it. And my customer loved it, and it stood up to everything they threw at it. So that was the litmus test. And now it's just everybody in our office like, hey, why don't you get one of those Rab fixtures for such and such? I'm like, yeah, okay. So, I mean.
Well, that's great news for you because that's a low cost, no cost introduction, right? I mean, it doesn't get any better and cheaper and easier than email.
Look at me. I mean, I'm the electronic generation. I mean, I'm 41, right. And almost everybody, I push electronics. And so for me, getting an email that, I don't remember what it was about the email that stood out, but I think it was equivalent to 250 watt metal halide and 100,000 hour lamp life. I was like, hell, I'll give it a shot. The price was good too.
And you know what, I want to come back to that. I've got a question over here, but I do want to come back to that because that is interesting. And you're talking about generational differences and different ways of preferred communication. And sometimes it is that simple as, I grew up with the electronic, information age, and I would prefer that, that given to me and served in that way. And Scott would prefer a more face-to-face, hands-on, meeting. And none of these are right or wrong. They're just, you've got to figure out what your customer wants and give it to him. And if what he wants is email and texting and don't call me, just send it to me, give it to him. And if what he wants is swing by the office and see if I've got time to, talk with you and, maybe some of my guys, do that too. But you had a question.
Well, it's interesting, Michael, the comment you made about you can go to the rep warehouse and pick up the product. Don't your distributors stock anything that are your preferred suppliers?
Oh, they do. They do, but I mean,
That's for distributors, to me, that's an interesting scenario.
Why do you need to do that? Why do you need to?
Why does Terry need distributors stocking your product when you can go to the rep and pick it up? You're buying it through a distributor.
I'm not picking it up from the rep. I'm buying it from my distributor. My distributor goes to the agent or the rep, picks it up, and then delivers it to me.
But you're saying you can get it fast. But your point was there's something locally and you can get it fast.
Right. Your question about why doesn't my distributor carry it? I don't know. That's none of my business. But the point is, I have access to.
And then the email you talked about coming from RAB, was it direct from RAB, Terry, or did it come through distribution?
No, it's direct marketing.
But that's a good thing, right? Because is that a good thing? Because he now knows about a product that he didn't know about. You can get it for him.
Well, in the case of I stock a lot of RAB, if she's doing marketing to you, I think it's great because you're going to go to her website and you're going to see who stocks her product because she manages it.
And it leads you to.
And it's going to lead to distributors that are working with her. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, sure. And if you would, say who you are.
Charles Bush with AWC. Were you familiar with RAB before the email hit your inbox? Yes.
Were you doing business with them?
No. No. As a matter of
Conquest. Conquest marketing. That's unbelievable.
I actually, to be honest with you, I'm sorry. I didn't think too much of them in the beginning, back before the LED thing, and then they came out. You guys got a strong LED product line that fits our customers very well, and it's fit for us very well.
So it's a simple, probably emailing, and then all of a sudden they had something that you needed or wanted or were interested in.
Absolutely.
It's just
But
opportunistic. It's plain old opportunistic.
You're not going to get me on the first email. But
Unless it's something you need or want at that moment.
right, and I want to bring up something. I get periodic emails from quite a bit of manufacturers, and one of them did come from Schneider, and they were talking about beta testing the quote fast.
Could you speak up a little bit?
I'm sorry. They're offering, Schneider's working on a version of their gear software that distributors use. They're offering a version of that to contractors. It's a light version, but you can build almost all the way up to a switchboard in it. I saw that come through in a direct email. And I've been wanting this for a long time. I've asked Eaton, I've asked GE for a light version that we can use in-house to make submittals, to basically build a small project and send it to a distributor for pricing. Well, Schneider's on it, and it's not available to everybody yet. I hadn't even had a chance to really mess with the full version of it, but I saw it come through in a direct email. So I called my local Square D agent, I called Square D themselves and said, hey, can I get this? And so I'm in the process of getting it.
Did we answer your question, Terry? Did we answer your question and your question? Okay. Okay. What else? Yeah, and if you would, say who you are.
Josh Cohen, Head of Electric Supply. What are your top value-added services that you're offering or taking advantage of, and what are you paying for? Well, first, what's
I'll pipe in first, give a little breath to Michael and Scott here for a minute. Got to give them a hard time back.
There's a vacuum here.
With Interstate, we have a lot of try to differentiate ourselves, and so one of the things we've been talking about is we'll do all our project business is not direct, what a lot of people call an indirect direct. So we actually bring all the material into our warehouse. It can be $500,000 job, and we warehouse it. We stage it, deliver it to them however they want it. So if you're working on an office building and you want offices, 130 through 180, we'll bring you exactly what goes in those offices as you need it. Needless to say, we take care of all the claims, all the different issues like that, but we're taking it to them as we as they need it. So we do a lot of that. We try to be leaders in the market on the new products. One of my hard and fast rules is a guy should be always taking a new product in. That's one of the reasons we like Rab so much, is they've been so innovative in the last few years. And, you know, kudos to what Terry does and all that. But so for Interstate, we're always trying to find what can we do for our customers that's way above and beyond, whether it be, you know, having vehicles to where we can be to somebody's job site within 20 minutes with whatever they need. Trying to make sure we have the best inventory in the market and as close to our customers with whatever we have to do. So.
Follow up on that? Yeah. So, like you're doing the direct, indirect use of that too. Are you getting a premium for that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
How are you determining that? Is that a policy you have? Like, if you want to take it direct, we'll do it this way? If you give a choice?
In general, when we quote a job, it's always quoted through stock. Our contractors know if it's got to be tight, it'll get negotiated. They'll come to us and say, look, this one's going to have to be tight. We'll take it direct. We'll deal with the problems and the nightmare. And at that point, then we'll significantly, and I mean, when I say significantly, we're talking 10 points or more because of the, by bringing it through, absolutely. Yep.
Overhead.
You know. Some of the other things, we do a lot of training for our customers. We'll do credit training, business training. A lot of it's one-on-one, me spending time with a guy individually, trying to help them be better at what they do.
Did that answer your question, Josh and Scott? Okay. And Jim, did you have anything to add to any of that when he's talking about top value-added services, or Scott and Michael? Or? No?
No, I'll just say, I mean, I agree with them, and it goes back to what I said before, is knowing what, you know, who you are and what you're all about. And, you know, I'm fortunate, you know, I've worked for different companies. I'm fortunate to work for a company now that has kind of a similar philosophy of carrying, you know, very deep inventory, broad inventory, and having creative ideas. So, absolutely. And do you expect to get more money for it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also would add that, you know, we've done large wire buys in the past where the distributor has warehoused it for us, and we take it as needed, and we have a certain amount of time to actually pay for it. And then some of the manufacturers will do the same thing. They'll warehouse it and ship as needed. You know, I remember that the next time I have a big wire buy, if it goes smoothly and everything worked out the way it was supposed to work out, the next time one comes up, that's the first guy I'm going to call. Yeah.
And I think the other thing too, that one of the things I've learned in working with these guys and getting to know them is, you know, everybody's got their stories of the project gone wrong or the snag in the process, whatever. It happens, and it's going to happen. And I think relative to value added, not about adding to the price or whatever, but one of the things we talked about was, you know, there was a contractor who had a situation with a chandelier that was supposed to be shipped and delivered and installed on a certain day, and there was a snag, and it wasn't happening. And his distributor, you know, got on a plane with the chandelier and flew it to where it needed to be. And that contractor's point of view was just like Scott's. You don't forget that. You don't forget that kind of thing. So I think that partnership in the customer process, you know, we're not even talking price here, and I've been very gratified that none of you have asked about price, because that's just a given that you're going to be competitive, that you're going to be in the game. So in terms of building the relationship, how is that defined by the people who make the decisions? Do you have their back when the chips are down? Will you get on a plane? Will you buy that plane ticket? You know, whatever it takes to get the job done. I think that's another value-added service that I've heard just anecdotally from these guys too. Can we talk about, is there any other questions on, yeah, go ahead, Josh.
Going back to what we talked about before, if I'm, you know, trying to get in your business that I did before, and, you know, I come in every couple weeks for 6 weeks, and every time, hey, I'd like to talk to Scott, and I can't get by the receptionist, she calls me, he's always too busy. Like, how do you get past the receptionist?
How do you get past the receptionist?
Well, one way is to just follow up with emails, you know, of course, and
to you.
Directed to me. I mean, usually that they have a stack of my cards at the front desk, and she'll give them to anybody that walks through the door. So I get a lot of emails too. A lot of them, you know, I read just about all of them, you know, or at least open them and then discard,
And then delete them.
Then discard them. Yeah, but just a lot of follow up. I mean, just be persistent about it, and you know, eventually I'm going to be so sick of hearing that Joe's at the door again or whatever. I'm going to go up there and see who he is and what he's about. You know.
But email is the first
But yeah,
right
I would
approach.
say if you can't get by the front desk, then just keep emailing or following up. Say, hey, I dropped a card by. You know, do you have a minute we can meet or a time that?
What about voicemail? What about when the receptionist says he's too busy to see you, and he says, okay, but can you put me into his voicemail? I mean, if you're calling, you know. What about that? Is that effective or not effective?
I think that, I mean, that's more persistency. That helps too. I mean, it's all, the more I see this name that keeps popping
Right.
up, and it's like,
Josh on the phone, Josh in the email, you know, at some point it's going to start to chip away
Yeah.
at.
yeah, so it's just follow up. And I mean, there's I think some attitudes that are they're just never going to get in. There's just no way, you know, that just because of personality or something, or a voicemail can be a good thing, or it can come off wrong. You know, I mean, same with an email. If you get an email, you could be meaning it to be one way, but somebody take it completely opposite. And
What about this though? What if somebody like Josh calls you and he leaves a voicemail, and rather than just saying, I'm Josh with, you know, XYZ company, I'd love to get an opportunity to sit down and talk to you, which is a pretty generic voicemail, right? You get those 1,000 times a day. What if he had something specific to say, and he said, I'm Josh, I'm with XYZ company, and I have, you know, a widget that I'm not sure you've seen. We've got it. I want to come by and show it to you. I definitely want to make sure that you're aware of it, that you know that it's out there, you know, and what it can do for you and your business. I mean,
oh,
it's-
absolutely, yeah. I think
So-
that would be a good way to approach getting into a new contractor's office.
so you're listening to a voicemail, but at least he's offering some reason to see him as opposed to just a meet and greet.
Right.